Zozobra is a Spanish word for anxiety, but it has connotations that English terms for anxiety don't have and that make it a helpful word for us to learn. It comes originally from Old Catalan, the term soup and sobra that refers to up and down, the up and down motion of a ship on rough seas. And in 20th century Mexican philosophy, it was used to name this peculiar feeling of groundlessness that arises when the world is falling apart. The feeling of being disoriented, of not being able to get your bearing, of finding yourself torn between two extremes, thrown about by the seas of life, and vulnerable to going under. Learning about Zozobra and about the Mexican philosophers who talk about it can really help us navigate these moments that we're in right now. Many people have struggled to name this sort of gnawing distress and wooziness that they've carried with them all year long. And without naming it, it's really harder to understand it. I look around and it seems like it's a beautiful day. Everything seems more or less normal. But then I'm reminded of, the election, the pandemic, the economic recession, wildfires, climate change, and the world just sort of starts to wobble. Understanding Zozobra can bring us together and help us feel more like a community, because for one thing, it's something that we all have in common, and that can be the basis of genuine sympathy and connection. But in order for that to happen, we need to be honest about what we're experiencing and not try to cover it up with sort of optimistic and happy facades. And we also need to resist the temptation to kind of channel this anxiety into blame and anger, as if some one person or group were to blame for this feeling. I think a lot of people are having the sense that philosophy is more relevant today than ever, and I think that's true. I think that when the basic assumptions that we sometimes take for granted get called into question, that's when philosophers can really help. It's in times of tumult when we have to really take stock and say, what really matters? What does it mean to be honest? What does it mean to be a democracy? What does it mean to be responsible as a parent? The world itself is challenging a lot of our basic assumptions, and it's in times like those that philosophy becomes especially relevant.